What's up, y'all? This is Camo Catfish, and today I'm doing some long-term food storage. So stick around and I'll show you how to turn the shelf life of this 100 pounds of food into 25 years. Alright folks, I'm just going to go ahead and start out by showing you what all I have here to do what I'm going to do, and then I'll kind of give you a quick overview of how I understand the process works. Now, quick disclaimer, this is going to be my first time ever doing this, so we'll kind of see how this works together. Right here, I went to Lowe's and got 5-gallon buckets. I've got 5-gallon bucket lids. I have Mylar bags. I have oxygen absorbers. I have the food, obviously. I have an ironing board, just a regular board, and a shop vac. Now, as far as the buckets go, I picked these buckets up at Lowe's. They're about $3 or so a piece, and the lids. Now, I'm going to be putting the food inside the Mylar bags, inside the bucket with an oxygen absorber in the Mylar bag. Since my food's going to be in the Mylar bag, I went ahead and just picked up the regular buckets. Now, at Lowe's or whatever box store you go to, they're going to have food grade buckets, which are about $1 or so more than the regular buckets. Now, if you're not using Mylar bags and you're just storing your food directly in the bucket, I would suggest spending the extra $1 or so and going ahead and getting the actual food grade buckets. That way it'll prevent the chemicals in the plastic from leaching into your food. But like I said, since we're using the Mylar bags as a liner for the bucket, I just went ahead and got the regular buckets. Now, they had 2 or 3 different lid options at the box stores. They have the regular just snap-on lids for these 5-gallon buckets for, like, say, painting or whatever household chore you might be using the bucket for. Then they have the food grade bucket lids, which are these white ones that I got here from Lowe's. And I went with these because they have the rubber gasket around the inside of the rim, which gives you a tighter seal, and it's just all around better for long-term food storage. Now, they do have gamma lids, which are a step up. I've seen them at this local Lowe's before, but unfortunately they didn't have them today whenever I picked this stuff up. So I just went ahead and got the food grade 5-gallon bucket lids with the rubber gasket. These Mylar bags here I got off of Amazon. They're 5-gallon Mylar bags. They're 7 mil thickness, which is suggested at least 7 mils thickness for long-term food storage. This set of Mylar bags also came with oxygen absorbers. Now, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be taking one of these Mylar bags, putting it down in the bucket, filling the Mylar bag up with either the beans or rice, whatever. I'm going to be using the shop vac to suck out all the air that I can possibly suck out of the bag to kind of compress the bag and suck, get all the oxygen I can out of the bag. Drop the oxygen absorber down in the bag, and then use the iron and the ironing board for something to bear down on underneath the Mylar bag, and use the iron to heat seal this Mylar across the top. And it'll be airtight. No light can get through the bucket in this Mylar bag, and the oxygen absorber will take care of whatever little bit of oxygen will be left inside the bag when I'm done here. So, in theory, this process will make this food keep for up to 25 years. And I have actually personally seen people open a 5-gallon bucket of rice done this way. That was 18 years old. They pulled it out, looked at it, it was perfectly fine, and they ate it. And it was just as good as the day they bought it from the store. So, without further ado, let's get this process started. Alright folks, I've got everything set up and ready to go. I've got my iron plugged up and heating up. I've got my shop vac plugged up, ready to go. I've got my 5-gallon bucket, my lids in front of me. This is the 5-gallon 7 mil thickness Mylar bag. We're going to go ahead and put this down in the bucket. want to kind of spread out the bottom. That way it can receive as much food as possible. Just like so. Alright, now we're ready for the food. I'm going to go ahead and do the pinto beans right now, since I have more of them than rice. We're going to go ahead and just open the bag up. And pour them in. Alright, that's 20 pounds of pinto beans right there. Now, I'm going to kind of shake the bag around and get them all to settle down in there as much as possible. The tighter they're packed down in there and kind of sifted to the bottom, the more oxygen is pushed up out. You know, the tighter anything's packed, the less oxygen there is in between them, and the less oxygen that the oxygen absorbers will have to absorb after the bag is vacuum sealed. So, just gonna shake it around like that. Alright, and it looks like it'll take another about half a 20-pound bag. So it looks like I'm going to get about 30 pounds of pinto beans in here, which is good. I just want to be careful and not overfill it. I don't want to be having to pour it back out of this bucket, out of the Mylar bag. That'd be a bummer. Alright, I think I'm going to go with that right there. Alright folks, now I have the pinto beans filled up to about there, so there's still a little bit of room left at the top, enough room for me to fold this down and seal it and put the rest of this bag down in there without it being too high for the lid to go on securely. And something I just thought about, if you do accidentally pour some food, like maybe it doesn't make it all in the Mylar bag and it gets down in between the Mylar bag and the bucket, I would really suggest making sure that no beans or rice or whatever gets down in there, because it may attract rodents or bugs, pests, stuff like that, to want to investigate what's in this bag. Now, with this Mylar bag sealed and the lid with the rubber gasket sitting securely on here, the likelihood of animals getting all the way through the bucket and the Mylar to the food or even smelling it is very unlikely. But like I said, if anything gets in between your Mylar bag and the bucket down in here, I would suggest pulling it out, because an animal may smell that food through that little rubber gasket on the lid. Alright folks, so all we have to do now is seal this Mylar bag up, heat seal it right here, well, and suck all the air out, throw a oxygen absorber in there, and we're good to go. Alright folks, I went ahead and just got a scale, that way I know exactly how much weight is in this bucket. 30.8 pounds, and I'm just going to go ahead and call the extra 0.8 the bucket, lid, and the Mylar bag. So we got 30 pounds of food right there. Something to consider is when your oxygen absorbers come to you packaged, they're vacuum packed. I mean, as tight as it gets. When you go ahead and open the packaging with all your oxygen absorbers in it, they're going to start absorbing oxygen. So the best thing to do is open the package as quickly as possible. Take the one oxygen absorber you need currently. Go ahead and put it in your Mylar bag and put the rest of them in a mason jar with a mason jar lid. You know, that way it's airtight, and they'll go in there, and once they absorb the little bit of oxygen in this quart jar, that's all they'll absorb, and it won't ruin them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. See, they're already working. They're sucking up oxygen. So I'm going to go ahead and take one oxygen absorber right here, throw it in my Mylar bag, and put the rest of them down in this mason jar. I have 25 here, so I hope they all fit. All right. There you have it, folks. Alrighty, now we are ready to go ahead and seal this bag up. Let me find my ironing board. I'm going to go ahead and start from one end where it's creased down one side all the way across where it's creased on the other side of the bag there. That way it's as flat and nice as possible. I'm going to go ahead and start heat sealing this across and leave a gap large enough for my shop vac hose to fit down in there, suck out the remaining air. Alright, so here we go with my iron. Now I've seen people use hair straighteners, like their wife or girlfriend's hair straightener, to do this. And I reckon that's just fine. But I had this laying around, not being used. So this is what I'm going to use. That worked nicely. Now I'm going to get this other side situated, and I'll seal this other side up now. Alrighty. Oops. I'm gonna burn the shed down. Alright guys, as you can see, I'll turn it to where it's facing you. I left a hole just big enough for my shop vac hose to suck out the remaining air. That way we kind of have a vacuum seal on this thing. All right, folks. As you can see, I'm going to try a better or a different method next time. The clothes iron wasn't working as good as I wanted it to. I didn't get all the air sucked out of this bag, but it is airtight. It has the oxygen absorber in it. And so all that's left to do now is just fold the bag down nicely and neatly and pop the lid on. Just like so. And then all you're going to want to do now is go ahead and label the lid and, you know, basically tell what's in this bucket and when it was put in there. So theoretically, this 30 pounds of pinto beans will be good until about January of 2046. That's a pretty good long time, folks, for not a whole lot of money. Letting my wife's hair straightener heat up right now. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do this second round a little bit faster. So here goes. Alright folks, I think that's about it. It's not airtight, or it's not perfectly vacuum sealed, but I do believe that's better than the last one. Now I've seen other people do this, and I've seen other tips and tricks on how to get it perfectly sealed off. And I will be trying those, but for right now, for what I'm doing, and for my first time, that's not too bad. Except for the fact that I forgot to put a oxygen absorber in there. Oh boy. Alright guys, I forgot to put the oxygen absorber in there, so what I did was I just cut a little slit right here, slipped an oxygen absorber in, and sealed it back off. That should be good to go. Like I said, this isn't a professional job. This is my first time, but it should be good to go. There you have it, folks. Now for the rice. All right, oxygen absorber. All right, folks, I think that's the best seal I've had yet. I'm getting better. As you can tell, I've got most of the air out of it. It has the oxygen absorber in it. That rice is tightly packed together, so there's not a lot of oxygen in it anyway. And I have a tight seal. It's not taking on any more air, which is good. Joker's hot. 30 pounds of rice. We'll go ahead and double check, make sure. Yep, showing 32.2 pounds. There you have it, folks. Well, folks, had some mishaps along the way. Found out the hair straightener worked better for me than the clothes iron. Found out that you shouldn't forget to put in the oxygen absorbers. And there's better ways to get all the air out of the bag, which I'll look into in the future. But either way, today I got over 90 pounds of food put away in storage containers that will keep it good for up to 25 years. So if you enjoyed watching my video, please give me a like, a comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon and share the video if you would. Thanks for watching, guys.